So there's a job role that I'm seeing, or a position I'm seeing in more and more virtual events. And I think if you're a speaker, a presenter who really wants to maybe add a new revenue stream to what you're doing, I think this is a huge opportunity. And it's the role of the virtual MC or the virtual host. Now I'm going to talk to you about the kind of skill set I think is required to be a good virtual host. And I want to talk to you about why I believe this is going to be a trend more generally as well. It's going to be more request. I've been doing virtual hosting events since about 2016. And really the role of the virtual host or the virtual MC is to be the glue that holds the whole thing together. You're the person that's on camera. You're the person who's welcoming people into the event, who's introducing one speaker or the next speaker, the person who's doing the outros from them, the person who's kind of linking one section to the other, the person who's talking about the event theme and threading that through everything you do. Maybe you're also doing some panel moderation as well. You're really the glue. And I think some speakers can actually fulfill this job very well. In fact, I know some speakers, including myself, who can do both great keynote speaking and also could be a virtual MC. It's not right for everyone, but if you have the skill set, this is a huge opportunity because this is very in demand just now. So I think to do this well, you have to be this kind of glue. You also have to be comfortable in not just being the sage on the stage, but being the guide on the side. That person who guides an audience through a virtual event. Now, it could be something as simple as a 2-hour event, 2-hour meeting. It could be something as complex as a multi-day virtual conference with lots and lots of speakers. I think the largest one I ever did, we had 140 speakers on them. I'll give you another example. One I was doing the other day, I was brought in as the virtual MC for this event, and it had about 10,000 attendees on it. I'm doing everything live from my studio in the United Kingdom. We had Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, on. He was doing his live his live presentation from a studio in California. We had the main event production team who are in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And then we had another studio in Spain, I believe, as well. And all this is going on, all this is feeds. And so my job as the virtual MC is to be the glue, is to bring this together, is to be welcoming, is to ensure that the event theme is running through it, to also moderate some of the panels that are going on and some of the conversations that are going on as well, and be able to just kind of take the flow of the overall event. So you're kind of almost like a little bit of the face of the event. So there's a number of things I think if you want to do this well, skills I tend to see in good virtual MCs or virtual hosts. The first one I would say is they have to be very good improvisers. Because as great as virtual is, sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes a guest speaker that's coming in, their feed is not working correctly, or they can't hear you, or there's some problems going. So you have to be very comfortable working on camera, live, and being pretty much unflappable, and being able to improvise. And suddenly in the middle of nowhere where you're suddenly told in your earpiece, hey, this speaker isn't able to get a connection with us, so we need you to just riff on something for 5 minutes. And not every speaker has that ability. Comedians, I often find people that come maybe from a comedy or an acting background, they can usually do this pretty well. Not every speaker necessarily feels comfortable in doing this. But if you're quite happy, if someone said to you, we need you to go and talk about this random topic for 5 minutes on stage and just kind of get through that, then if you're the kind of person that could do that, virtual emceeing could be for you. The other thing I think you have to have is a simpatico, an empathy for your audience and for the other people that are involved in the event, the other speakers, for example, in the team. So being very empathetic towards them, being a real team player. Once again, not all, especially keynote speakers, can do this. A lot of keynote speakers are lone wolves. They're just happy to come in, give the speech, and then go back out again. That's fine. But with virtual hosts or MCs, they need to be much more of a team player. The third thing I would say is you have to be pretty good with technology and be very comfortable with technology as well. Because especially in the role of the virtual MC for a lot of events, you're not necessarily going to big production studios, maybe like a TV show would, or a live TV, live broadcast. Maybe you're doing it all from your home studio. So you have to kind of know pretty much how everything works. You need to have redundancies. What if that microphone fails? Do I have a backup? What if that internet goes down? Do I have a backup? Once again, not everyone has that. You have to have the ability to be able to take direction. So like that event I just mentioned where I'm giving moderating or giving a virtual MC role of that event, I've got a event producer in my ear giving me, suggestions of, okay, this is where we should go next, and being able to respond to that. Now, if you've been doing TV, you'll have probably broadcast news, no problem. This is your bread and butter. But for a lot of people, that can be a little bit weird. It can be a bit disconcerting, especially like some of the events I do, they're in multiple languages. And you're hearing maybe the previous speaker is talking in Spanish, and you're trying to figure that out as well. Which also leads me to this idea of being just a good general communicator. Especially big, large, global conferences, you need to be able to use your body language, use your facial expressions in a way, and use your language in a way that is a little bit more constrained, a little bit more focused. Not so much big words. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more focused in your speaking. But here's the opportunity. In 2000, I've been doing virtual events for many years and emceeing them. But in 2020, I just got so many requests to do virtual emceeing because many companies decided rather than they can't do the in-person conference where they would normally bring in a keynote speaker to be the keynote opening or the closing keynote speaker. So instead, they decided to run a virtual event, but they don't necessarily want to spend the budget of bringing in a keynote speaker and multiple keynote speakers, but they do need to have someone that can just pull the whole thing together and can do virtual. So here's what the opportunity is, and I see this more and more where more conferences will be not necessarily looking for that professional keynote speaker, especially under a certain size. They will be looking for someone to be the glue, to hold the whole thing together, to be able to know the event theme, to be able to understand the values of the brand, understand the way that the brand likes to speak about itself, sometimes called a brand guide. The brand will often have a guide. This is how we like to speak. These are the kind of words that we use. As a moderator or as a virtual MC or host, you need to internalize this and really understand this to be able to present it as well. Even very simple things. I'm wearing this just now. This is an event I did the other day, and I asked the client, "Can you give me your brand guide?" And I noticed that this color was one of their corporate colors. So as I am the host on screen for this, I'm ensuring that I'm wearing their corporate colors. These are very fine, detailed little things that mean that the role of the virtual MC or the virtual host can really excel. It's an unusual job. It's not right for everyone. Not everyone wants to do it, but there's so much opportunities because it's going to be a little bit slower for some of those in-person events to be happening. But every single day, there's hundreds, thousands of events happening virtually, and some of these are really quite big events where they're looking for that virtual moderator or host or MC. So have a think about that for yourself. If you're a speaker, and I mentioned some of these different skills, being able to improvise, being cool under pressure, understanding a little bit of technology as well, being able to take direction, being a team player. If this sounds like you and you have the presentation skills you do as a speaker, virtual emceeing and virtual hosting could be a great additional. It doesn't have to be your main thing, but it could produce maybe 25% of your revenues in a year. Increases the diversity of your income streams. My name's James Taylor. Please leave any comments below. Maybe you're doing this just now. Let me know about your experiences, what you think the good skills of a great virtual MC or host are. And make sure to click subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Would you like to know how to become a motivational speaker? Perhaps over the years you've considered becoming a professional speaker, getting paid to travel the world and share your message or expertise on stages. If so, I invite you to sign up for my free 3-part online training series called the 7-Figure Speaker Blueprint. In that training, I'll share with you the 10 ways to make $1 million per year from your speaking. To access this free training, just go to training.jamestaylor.me. That's training.jamestaylor.me. Thanks for watching.